When perfume houses release flanker after flanker after flanker after flanker, it's very confusing. You don't know which one to buy, which ones to buy. Is the original still the best, or is one of the flankers, one of the many hundreds of flankers, better? You know, are there multiple flankers that are better than the original? You don't want to spend your hard-earned cash on the original and all of the flankers like I do. You want to save your money. So you want to hear from someone like me, a fragrance reviewer, about the original, whether the flankers are better than the original. And I buy all the flankers so that you don't have to. So if you want to hear about some original fragrances that are very popular, very hyped up, and their flankers, just continue to watch. Hi my lovely people, welcome to today's video. I'm going to start, actually before I start, please take a second to subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out to grow my channel. And always after you watch this video or while you watch this video, please go down and comment in the comment section so I know what you guys are thinking. I always reply to your comments, whether it takes a little while or immediately. I always do. So you will always get my personal thoughts back to you when you leave a comment. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Very important, that too. Anyway, I think I'm going to start with original and a bunch of flankers here that you probably really want to hear about. So the original I'm talking about is Givenchy L'Interdit. Now the latest flanker is this one. This is a Givenchy L'Interdit Rouge Ultime. So this is the latest, but then it has two other flankers. As you know, this is L'Interdit en Tones. This is L'Interdit Rouge, which people love. And then the latest flanker right here, L'Interdit Rouge Ultime. I actually just hauled this. If you missed my last video, which is my massive perfume haul, I bought a lot of the new releases and some really hyped up perfumes that have been around a while, niche and designer. Check that video out. I will link it down in the description box. Always check the description box, you guys. You can find my videos that are really important that you missed. You can find information about the products I'm talking about, discount codes. So always check the description box. You just have to click that thing that says more, the three dots. Click that, it'll unroll. That's the description box. Some of you actually asked me, where's the description box? So that's why I'm telling you. So don't get annoyed if you already know where it is. Okay, so this, as you know, L'Interdit, the original. This is a gorgeous fragrance that was actually created for Audrey Hepburn. Okay, this was actually Audrey Hepburn's signature fragrance for a long time. I don't know if she kept it as a signature fragrance like until her death. I don't know. I know that she also had other fragrances that she wore a lot, like the Kriegler fragrance, the orange blossom one. Now I forget the name. Kriegler English Promenade. There you go. Anyway, so this one, yes, this was created with Audrey Hepburn in mind. This actually was created for her, and she really didn't want a Givenchy to mass market it or release it to the public. She actually said don't, but Givenchy went ahead and actually ended up releasing this to the public, which I am, for one, very glad. This is the most beautiful, gorgeous tuberose scent, you guys. This is a very predominantly tuberose scent. You can smell that slightly bubblegummy sweet tuberose, which most of us love. I know I don't really hear from people who hate tuberose. Most people love tuberose. So this is very obviously white floral dominant fragrance. This has orange blossom and jasmine too, which always kind of complement tuberose, white floral fragrances. If there's tuberose, there's usually jasmine and sometimes orange blossom, and vice versa, because they really complement each other. There's a beautiful juicy peach note in here with some citruses in the opening that's really making it feminine and kind of juicy. Loads of vanilla, obviously, in this fragrance, musk and, you know, all that. So this is a, in short, very tuberose dominant fragrance. That's what you smell the most. Now, the Rouge, actually before Rouge, I want to talk about the Intense here. Now this one, I actually want to spray this one because I can't smell it because I haven't worn it in a while. So this one is a very kind of dark, more nighttime appropriate interpretation of the original, in my opinion. This has a little bit more like deeper, more sultrier kind of notes in it. It makes me think of nighttime immediately when I spray it. I mean, even the bottle gives it away. It's black. This one's got a kick, you know, like a little peppery opening with a little kick, which gives you that immediate sort of, you know, impression of strength. And it has sesame seed, you know, like sesame note in here, which is very difficult to describe. If you ever smell sesame seeds, you know what I'm talking about. It's only in there in the background, mixing with tuberose, some kind of taking away from the bubblegummy scent of tuberose, like the bubblegummy sweetness, takes it away a little bit, you know, makes it less sweet and less bubblegummy a little bit. This, of course, has orange blossom. I'm willing to bet maybe jasmine too still in here. Loads of vanilla, just like the original. I think all of these have loads of vanilla. Patchouli note in here is a little bit more kicked up, so there's a little bit more earthiness to it. There's also vetiver, so that's doubling down on the earthiness. So yeah, this is like a bit of a sultrier version of the original for, I would say, nighttime wear. And you can also wear it in cold weather, in my opinion. Now, Rouge, this is the Rouge version. Actually, I'm also gonna spray this. I can smell it, but I'm gonna spray it just on the other hand, just to... So this one, you guys, the biggest difference to me that I love is that juicy blood orange note in the opening, which makes this very kind of juicy bursting blood orange citrus in the opening, which I think takes away again from the tuberose in here, the bubblegummy sweetness of the tuberose. Now the original is super tuberose bubblegummy, like very sweet, whereas this one, the citrus notes come through a little bit more in the opening. And now I'm smelling the tuberose a little bit more as the opening kind of gives away to middle notes. This also, if I'm not mistaken, has a really gorgeous juicy zing from ginger, which really complements the blood orange note. This, of course, has tuberose, jasmine, and I think orange blossom too, all of it. Vanilla, just like the original. The biggest difference in here, like I said, is that juicy burst from the blood orange. You can literally smell the blood orange. Now, it's not like a sharp citrus from like notes like bergamot or lemon. It's not sharp like that. It's a more sweet, syrupy kind of citrus, you know, the kind that you get from mandarin orange or blood orange type of notes, right? Now, for the latest flanker here, the Ultime, the Rouge Ultime. This one is, oh, I can smell this really well too, but just to keep up with the theme, I will go ahead and spray this here on this wrist. This one is, this one, you guys, to me, the biggest difference in this is that it's not citrusy like the Rouge, the L'Interdit Rouge. So these two, comparing these two, I'm sure is very important to you guys. These do smell different. They're not, you know, as similar as I thought they would be. Yes, this one has this DNA and the L'Interdit DNA, you know, period with the tuberose, but this takes a different path in the sense this doesn't have, the latest Rouge Ultime does not have that juicy citrusness from the blood orange. There's no blood orange in this one. So no blood orange this one. Citrus is not dominant in this one. You don't smell the citruses as much. if there's even citruses in here. You don't get a citrus thing at all from this. And yes, the tuberose is there, but instead of it being super bubblegummy, there's something in here. I don't know what note that would be. There is a note in here that's giving it a bit of a cosmetic scent, you know, like a face powder, but it's not powdery either. So if you think of a cosmetic smell, like when you open a cosmetic case or cosmetic like eyeshadow palette or sometimes like lipsticks, you know, like it has a lipsticky makeup powder kind of ish vibe to it, like to the point it makes me think of this woman in red, like, you know, combing her hair at her vanity and putting her red lipstick on, right? So yeah, there is something really super duper feminine and awesome about this fragrance. If you ask me what's my favorite out of all four of these, it would be the latest Rouge Ultime. I do also love the original because of that very sweet, very special tuberose scent, which this is one of the really more nice tuberose scents that I know. Diptyque makes a nice tuberose scent too. Dosson, now that's niche fragrance, but out of designer fragrances, that's a really good tuberose one. Could that be coming from the mixture of the cacao shell, I think, note in here? Would that be what's generating that sort of makeup powder vibe to me, lipstick vibe to me? It could be. It's not cacao powder, it's cacao shell. So that kind of makes sense. And this, if I'm not mistaken, has a very mild, more like a white tobacco kind of note in here too, but I'm not for sure. But yeah, it may be coming from that cacao shell note that it allegedly has. Now I'm going to compare directly these two together. This is the Valentino, born in Roma. This is the original, and this one is the born in Roma Intense or Intense. So the biggest difference, so you guys know what this is. This is that beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous white floral fragrance that has a juicy burst in the opening from that juicy black currant. It's like a fruity, juicy burst in the opening. It has, I think, pink pepper too, which is a really nice note. It kind of makes you feel happy a little bit. Some citruses. It, of course, has loads of jasmine. This is a very jasmine dominant fragrance, but not in a like screaming in your face kind of way. This has quite a decent amount of vanilla too. It has something very sexy about it. Oh, loads of musk, which makes it sexy. And it has a really good sillage, projection, compliment getter. Now, the main difference between this and the new Flank Intense, which I absolutely love this one, is the fact that they double down on the vanilla. This is a super vanilla heavy version of the original, okay? And this also has a little bit of that sort of makeup kind of vibe about it. Very super ultra feminine. So it's a little bit more deep, more vanilla, even more feminine, if you can imagine that. And oh yeah, to make the vanilla scent even deeper, this has amber, loads more. I don't think this one has amber. I think this has amber, loads more. And also some benzoin, which is like a resin version of vanilla. Okay, so yeah. So that is the difference between those two. If you ask me which one I like more, it's really hard to say. It's a very close tie, but I think I might like the Intense a hair more, but I love the original too. They're both compliment getters. I almost always get compliments when I wear them. Then I have a very beachy summer line of fragrances here that recently released a flanker, and it has flankers before that. The original is, of course, the Bronze Goddess by Estée Lauder. This is one of my ultimate favorite. Do you see how much of a dent I put into it? Beach fragrances ever. I love to wear this on the beach, you guys. It gives that sort of, you know, sexy hot skin, like warm sexy skin kind of vibes. And on the beach you want to wear scents like this that are very kind of tropical and mild and more like smells like hot warm skin than an actual perfume, right? So which is why I love this. This is a vanilla based scent, but it's not super sweet kind of vanilla. It's more of a moderated vanilla by other tropical notes like coconut, tiare flower. Oh, tiare flower is one of the most heavenly tropical floral notes. Some amber in here, and there might be a little bit of a salty vibe in here too, you guys. It's hard to tell. So that's the original. And then I have two flankers here. So the one flanker is Bronze Goddess Nuit. Now this one is not, I don't love this as much as the original, okay? This one, I'm actually go ahead and spray this over here a little bit, just a little lower. This, you guys, is salty. Like this one, that's the biggest difference. So I am willing to bet the original has a tad bit of salt because it gives you that beach vibe. But this one has a stronger salty note. It's very like salty. It's really appropriate for the beach as well. It does also have that coconut and all the like the jasmine, all the kind of notes the original one has. This also has a little bit more like floral notes, I think. And this has a good bit of like sharp citrus. I think comes from bergamot, you know. So the main difference is that this one smells even more beachy, salty than this one. But this has more of a suntan, like I'm a you know, bronze goddess, you know, sunbathing on the beach, you know, with my suntan lotion on, and you know, my skin just naturally smells sexy, warm, hot skin with the tad bit of a suntan lotion vibe. Whereas this one has more of a fresh sea breeze vibes, you know, if that makes sense to you. And then the latest flanker, Bronze Goddess Lauder Lumière. This one is a more like luminous kind of a white floral dominant one. So this is like has that Bronze Goddess DNA, but with a lot more of a white floral feel to it. You can smell the beautiful white florals. It actually also has a salt note also, so it's very beachy as well. This has just like the other ones, the coconut, but you can smell the white florals. This has some citrus white florals like neroli along with orange blossom. There's of course jasmine as well. A little bit of a fig vibe. I've noticed that sometimes beachy fragrances, you know, fig works really well in it. You guys know that one, what do you call it? The Mugler, the weird one that some people say smells fishy because it smells like marine, like beach. Womanity, there you go, that's the one. Okay, so it has a little hint of fig in here, some salt, you know, but that luminous white florals come through, the jasmine, the orange blossom, the neroli. So that's the biggest difference, right? And this has a bit of a marine vibe too. I mean, I think so does this. All of them really. So this one is more like hot, warm skin with suntan lotion on the beach, kind of sexy woman vibe. This one is more like fresh sea breeze, salty kind of beachy vibe. This one is more like white floral luminous vibes with that marine hint in it. Also very beachy. So yeah, that's that. And then I have these three right here. So this is the My Way line. The original is a very much a tuberose fragrance, this one. I think I'm gonna spray it right here a little bit. I can smell it, but I wanna spray it. So this one is that sort of tuberose, but this is not as bubblegummy as, let's say, tuberose is in this one. Not. This is a little bit more mixed with citrus. It's a little bit more of a fresh tuberose, but you still get a little bit of that sweet tuberose bubblegumminess. It has, of course, jasmine and orange blossom and other stuff too. Some vanilla, some musk. It's, you know, it's pretty. I really loved it when it first came out. I mean, I wore quite a bit of it too. But then they came up with the My Way Intense here. Now, the biggest difference between this and the other one, I'm actually going to spray this one over here as well. Just to... So this one, the biggest difference to me, I think, is that bitter orange note. Citrus opening is a little bit different in this one. To be quite honest, there's not a huge difference, like a massive difference between these two. The only difference to me is that you can smell the citrus more in this one in the opening. This does have a lot of tuberose as well, and the vanilla, of course, but not too strongly. Yeah, so between this one and this one, this is more tuberosy. Yes, you can smell the citruses, but this one I feel like has more of a citrus note because of that bitter orange note in the opening, in my opinion. And now this is the one that's way different from these two, which I really love. I really didn't love the fact that these two are too similar, right? Whereas I was very happy to see that the My Way Parfum, this is actually very much a good flanker. It's actually a flanker. It has the original DNA, but it deviated, it went a different way. This one is a very beautiful, very feminine fragrance, you guys. So if you ask me out of these three, which one you should get, I'd say go for the Parfum. If you don't want to, you know, spend money on all three of them, or if you just want two of them, I would get the original and the Parfum. My least favorite is the Ontons, which I don't see a point to this at all. I'm glad I got the small bottle. But anyway, this one, however, has a lipsticky vibe too. This has a very like a cosmetic lipsticky, super feminine, like, you know, gorgeous vibe about it, because this has an iris note. So it's powdery, okay? So it has like a lipstick, powdery lipstick, face powder kind of vibe. I sprayed a little bit, I guess, just a little. Yeah, oh, that right away you smell that like freshly opened lipstick or cosmetic kind of vibe, and you can smell that powdery iris very strongly, more strongly than the tuberose. Actually mixed with the tuberose, the iris smells really good. So that's the biggest difference. So if you want a real flanker, get the original and get the Parfum, not the Ontons. And then I have this bunch right here. Oh my god, how many of these did I get? These are Black Opium. Woo! Black Opium and many flankers, okay? So I'll start with the original, the OG, you know, everybody hates on now because I don't know why. To me, this was one of the first perfumes that were different. Before we got saturated, the market got saturated with all these designer and niche fragrances, you guys. Back in the day when there was not much of a variation, this was one of the fragrances that was really different. You know, this is a coffee fragrance, as you know. This is what it's known for, having that coffee note with that sultry darkness, you know, like in here. I'm gonna actually spray this too. I don't know why I'm unable to smell a lot of them today. That Black Opium vibe is definitely there. This is like a sultry, more of the original sultry fragrances back then when sultry wasn't that much of an option. It's obviously very dominantly coffee and vanilla. There's a lot of vanilla in here too, but it also has like peach, pink pepper, and it has white florals like jasmine in it, you know. You don't need me to say it, but this smells actually really kind of like, you know, sultry, although it's no longer sultry because of the fact that Black Opium is very old now. It's been around, sure, but it's still a beautiful fragrance, I should say. So orange blossom, coffee, vanilla kind of fragrance. And then I have the Black Opium Intense. This is a blue bottle. Do you see the blueness of this bottle or not? I think you can only, that's so weird how this is showing orange in here. It's actually very clear through, and around here is all blue, but okay, whatever. Yeah, so this is Ontons. This is a very aromatic fragrance. This is like a really nice interpretation of Black Opium. It has the original DNA with the coffee and the vanilla and all that, the jasmine, but this has an absinthe note in the opening, which I think is what makes it very different. It has this sort of slightly, I wouldn't say boozy, but like a very that absinthe smell, you know. Yeah, so I think this smells super sexy, honestly, and it's not so Black Opium-y, if that makes sense. This went a different way, almost completely. Yes, you can smell the coffee, but it's almost difficult to say that it's a Black Opium, you know, fragrance. And then I have Black Opium Extreme, okay? So they kept going darker, darker, darker. So this one, I can smell this one too. This is super coffee, you guys. This is very coffee forward. This fragrance is even more coffee forward than the original and the Intense, you know, the Ontons version. This is super coffee forward, and this has a little chocolate powder vibe from the cacao powder, which you can smell. Those two are what you smell the most. The white floral is almost unrecognizable. The vanilla is there, adding a little bit of sweetness, and there's patchouli adding some earthiness, but it is that chocolatey coffee vibes in here. You can actually smell the coffee. It's very coffee forward. Then we have the latest flanker Black Opium Le Parfum. This one, you guys, is delicious. This is very vanilla dominant. So this is coffee and vanilla. But coffee is not as strong as it is in the extreme version, if that makes sense. This is more of a beautiful, more modern interpretation of the original Black Opium, but only with a bucket of vanilla. This has a load of vanilla, and it smells absolutely beautiful, very delicious, very vanilla-y, you know, very gourmet. You know, they all are gourmet, you know, technically, but this is very sweet and very kind of vanilla heavy, very gourmet, you know, almost like smells like a sexy dessert. Yeah, okay, so that's the difference. So if you ask me what's worth buying, I would say I actually like all of them for their own reasons. I mean, obviously original gets a lot of hate, maybe not that one, but I would highly recommend Le Parfum, and I would highly recommend the Intense, you know, which I think also is nice. And Extreme is nice too, but I think I love the Intense and the Le Parfum the most. Then I have one of my most beloved fragrance lines from one of my favorite houses. I really love this line. It's the La Nuit Trésor line from Lancôme. I have pretty much every flanker and the original. Pretty sure I have all of them ever released. I love this whole line, you guys. Of course, my original love, the original La Nuit Trésor. This one, you guys, has loads of notes that I don't want to get into all of it. This has some coffee, it has praline, it has caramel, it has fruity notes like lychee, strawberry, a peach or pear, actually pear, and citruses. I mean, even a little bit of incense, you know, tonka bean and all this stuff in here, which all add up to smell amazing. This is a great night out fragrance. It used to be, I used to call it my party fragrance. You know, this is really like a great one to go out in at nighttime, any season really, nighttime fragrance. And then my second love is this one right here, which unfortunately is being discontinued, but you can still buy them. I will, by the way, all these fragrances, I will list and link down in the description box. Go there to find out the best price and the best place to buy them. I will do research and find out where you can still buy this. This is La Nuit Trésor à la Folie. The biggest difference between the original and this is that this is very vanilla dominant. It's full of vanilla. Now the original has quite a bit of vanilla too, but this one you mainly smell the vanilla, and it's like all the sultriness of the original with a bucket of vanilla, if that makes sense. I love a la Folie. I don't know why in the world they are discontinuing it. It's beautiful. And then of course came out the La Nuit Trésor Nude. You guys, this one is the summer version of this gorgeous, delicious fragrance line. This has coconut and vanilla. This is mainly a coconutty vanilla fragrance. It doesn't have like the coffee and all that stuff the original or the other flankers have, but this is very much a coconutty vanilla interpretation. There's a little bit of that DNA, you know, but this is such a gorgeous, delicious gourmet for summertime, for summer evenings. You know, it goes from day to night actually, but I love to wear it on date night during summer. You know, absolutely gorgeous, sexy, you know, very feminine fragrance. And then of course they came out with the La Nuit Trésor Intense. This one is the cherry interpretation. So this has this one's beautiful. This has rose and cherry mostly. That's like, those two notes are more forward in this one than the other notes. Like this also I think has like some of the originals notes in here, of course vanilla as well, but what you smell the most are those like rose. This rose note is the most forward one, and then you can smell the cherry too. But with that original La Nuit Trésor DNA with like the other notes, I'm sure this has like incense and like, you know, other coffee and that kind of notes too. But what you smell the most are the rose and cherry notes. This is absolutely beautiful. Ooh, here's my absolute favorite. This is La Nuit Trésor Fleur de Nuit, you guys. This one is, ooh, it's delicious. This is like the original, only like so gourmand. This has a macchiato note and whipped cream, so that lactonic feeling is there, that deliciousness, the tuberose and the jasmine in here. Beautiful floral notes you can actually smell in this one, unlike the original. And it, you can't even tell, but it's that macchiato and the whipped cream, so delicious in here. It's like an even darker version of this original. So if you took the original and put macchiato and the whipped cream in it, this is more similar to the original. So delicious. My absolute favorite. If you ask me what I love the most out of the collection line, I would say my absolute favorites are the Fleur de Nuit, the A la Folie, and the Nude. These are my absolute favorites. Yes, I do love the original and the Intense too, but I tell you, honestly, you guys, I love all of them. In this La Nuit Trésor line, there's not one fragrance that I hate. I like immediately when they come up with a new one, I jump and buy it because I know for sure I'm gonna love it. Last but not least, I have two niche fragrances, original and flanker. So this is by Byron Parfum. It's Mula Mula and Mula Mula Rouge Extreme. Now, I've done several videos with these perfumes featured. Check out my description box. They were in a haul video, a couple of haul videos, and many other videos. I'll link them down in the description box. For a full review on these, just refer to those videos. But I just wanted to say this one, the original Mula Mula, is very kind of fruity, caramelly, gourmand fragrance. There are fruity notes like peaches and strawberry in here, very kind of juicy, and raspberry too, I think, and ginger with that ginger zing. And it has notes like labdanum, which is a note that has like a bit of a leather nuance, and then it has a nice amount of vanilla and oud. Actually, there's argarwood in here, oud, but very subtle, not your barnyard oud, not your screechy oud, not your like strong oud or anything. It's well blended, so it's a very caramelly. By the way, I don't even have to spray it. It's, you know, this is the thing about niche fragrances, you guys, they really project even from the atomizer. Yeah, this is a gorgeous gourmand fragrance, sweet, caramelly, fruity, beautiful gourmand fragrance. I absolutely love it to wear at nighttime, all seasons actually. In cold weather, it'll be really good as well any time of the day, but it's to me a nighttime fragrance. And then right here, the Mula Mula Rouge Extreme. This is got the Mula Mula DNA. What's different about this is that there's a cherry note in here, so that's a little bit, it comes through in the fruity notes, you know. And I feel like the caramel note in here is not as dominant as the caramel note in here in the original Mula Mula. That this one has oud too, but super subtle, even more subtle than the original one. This has a very sensual sandalwood in the dry down. I believe the original does too. This also has the ginger, by the way. But the difference between these two is that, let me smell this again. Yeah, so this one, to me, this one is even more sweet gourmand. Like the caramel comes through more, the gourmand sweetness is more in this. Whereas this one, you know, the caramel isn't as dominant, like I said. Yes, the fruitiness is there, but I feel like it's not as gourmand smelling. Yes, it is fruity, but it's like a little bit more like floral too, this one, I feel like. Yeah, so if you ask me which one I prefer, I do gotta say I love the original more. I know you guys are kind of 50-50. Some of you like the extreme more than the original, you know, personal preference, but to me this is more delicious with that more dominant caramel note, more gourmand kind of smell to it. It's like super Yeah, super delicious to me. So you guys, that's it. Those are the originals and flankers that I wanted to review for you. I know that in my previous first of flanker videos, I have compared a couple of these, but then since then more flankers have been released, so I wanted to like compare the original to all the flankers for you guys, but some of them are, you know, completely new comparisons. I hope you enjoyed this video and appreciated it, and if you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, which really helps me out. And you know what else helps me out? When you comment, so I know what you guys are thinking. I can kind of work off of your feedback and your thoughts, and you know, sharing that passion for fragrances is the best thing, you guys. And I also remember those few of you who actually comment. I know there are loads more who are very loyal and watch my videos all the time, but I don't know that you're watching unless you say something. So go ahead and comment down, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Don't forget to share this video, which helps me a lot too. I'll see you guys in my next video.